Darren, first of all, the FA Cup draw. I guess that's a nice one for you, isn't it? I know you got the replay first, but Everton be a nice game for you.
Yeah, it's fantastic, but the less said about that, the better, because I know how much work's got to be done, and we've got Morecambe to think about. I'll worry about that next week, but it's so important we focus on, when I took over the job, the main objective, and I don't want to lose focus on that, and it's important we make sure we talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, Morecambe now, as you say, a very important game, isn't it? I mean, you want to build on that York win as well.
Yeah, definitely. We want to keep the momentum. We've been talking about performances, and it's important. There's an opportunity with the next 2 games. The lads can enhance themselves. I said to them the exposure that the FA Cup would give them would be big, but it's so important they make sure they concentrate on Saturday now and the whole of the build up to that.
Yeah, are you happy with the response you've had from the players over the last 3 games?
Yeah, I've been more than happy since I've been manager of the football club. I thank the players for that. I think there was a question mark, do they respect me? I think in performances, any supporter that's been to any of the games, they could see change, and that's down to the players.
Yeah, and Morecambe, a tough game, isn't it, in many respects, because any game away from home is always going to be a tricky game, isn't it?
Yeah, I think all the games are tough. I mean, Leyton Orient away, played Oxford away, Plymouth away. So we'll just make sure we keep focused on what we've been focusing on, and fingers crossed, the performance levels have been high, and I always say if you get the performance right, 9 times out of 10 the results will follow.
Yeah, what do you expect from Morecambe? I
went up to watch them on Tuesday. It was a good game between them and Exeter. They've got a lot of threats, and they play some good football. And resources wise, they haven't got a lot of resources, but I know Jim Bentley will be doing the best to get the best out of them, and they'll be looking to win. They've had a few games which have been called off, but it'll be a good game, I think. But it's important we focus on ourselves, because I think that's what I've done as a manager. I've tried to change the performance levels between each and individual, and I think they've shown that, and collectively as a group it's all starting to come together.
Yeah, is it good to be back in the league now, back to league action?
Yeah, it's nice. It is nice. I mean, we're talking about all week playing calmly under pressure, and I think that's the key thing over the next 2 games, making sure they handle that pressure, because since I've been manager, every game, I'm not joking, has been a must-win game. It has. So we've got through it until now, and we keep carrying on the way we've been going.
Yeah, 3 points be very welcome. When they had a chance to get out of the bottom 2 is obviously the first step by step, isn't it? So it's the first objective, I suppose.
Yeah, but again, whether you look at it, whether we stay up, it's not going to be staying up next week, it's not going to be staying up the week after. It's about building something collectively to make sure that we achieve that objective together by the end of the season.
Yeah, and how are the squad looking on the injury front?
Yeah, it's good, it's all coming together. Harry Cornick is progressing nicely, so hopefully he should be looking at being available soon. And Kevin Dawson had his first training session the other day, and he come through it magnificently. It didn't look like he was carrying anything. So big thank you to the physio department on that side. Simon Gillett played in a game the other day and played very well, so I'll be thinking about him soon. So I'm really pleased with how things have gone progressively with all the injuries that are returning, that looking very positive.
Yeah, that'd be nice for you when they do come back to have those experienced players come into the team. Could make a big difference.
Yeah, I mean, their personalities are invaluable to the team, their experience, and then hopefully physically they can get through. They've been given everything around the building, and it's always nice to see that, because when you look at it from an injury point of view, it's not easy. But there's one thing that they've done is they've supported the group, even though they've not been playing. They've been in amongst the supporters on a match day, so I thank them for that.
Yeah, and is there any irons in the fires in terms of the transfer market?
There's 1 or 2 clubs that we're talking to, but as it stands at the moment, obviously the squad is quite big, and We've played against some big teams and we've not been far away, so it's important we don't disrupt the pattern too much.
Yeah. Good luck, Darren. Thank you.
Thank you.
I know when you took over, you talked about bringing pride back to Hewish Park. Was last week's events where you encouraged fans to meet the players and play pool? What was the thinking behind that?
I think when you've been at the club for so long, just like supporters who turn up every week, there's an emotional attachment with the job. I know we're all employees of the football club, but I feel I have more than just being an employee. I've been part of the battlefield that took the club to where we got to. I was part of the football club that got to the championship, which was an absolutely incredible achievement. And then within the space of 3 years, people started talking bad about the football club, and there was a lot of negative talk. My job was to try and bring the supporters closer to the players. I knew I could only do that through performances, because I can't cheat them. You know, you can't cheat a supporter. They know what they're seeing with their own eyes, and your eyes don't lie. So they can see a little bit of passion, a little bit of pride now, and we talked about where the badge was placed on your football shirt, and it's placed in front of your heart. And you know, I think it was quite powerful stuff when we had our first meeting to try and bring that back to Yeovil town. I think the supporters can see it, and I thought it was a great idea to try and film the supporters at our home game in our first win, and you could see their reactions. The ones that are turning up every week really care about this football club, because it is a fantastic football club, but we all know football's full of emotions, and I'm afraid to say not even the best can win every week. So there is, you know, if anyone was at the Carlisle game, they probably thought in the last couple of minutes it was all over, and then to see their emotions change within the space of a minute, 2 minutes, to the way their lives changed within the space of 2 days after. Certainly mine, you know, people were talking about the FA Cup tie now. You know, it just goes to show how things can change, and it's important that everyone puts a big effort in to get this football club back on the map again.
Thank you.
Will there be any element of setting the record straight this weekend against Morecambe, Darren? Because obviously when they came here, went 2-0 up, then there was a somewhat controversial red card and ended up losing 4-2. Must be some, you know, players want a bit of revenge after that.
Yeah, I thought they played well. I thought Morecambe, they looked decent. They got between the lines. They looked a real attacking force. But I've been up there. I watched the game on Tuesday, and obviously had a long way to drive home to think of a game plan that can exploit their weaknesses. So we'll be doing everything we can to make sure we win that game.
And they started the season strongly, but they've dropped off a little bit more now. Maybe that'll give you more incentive to, you know.
Yeah. I mean, but you know, you could look at it, any team, each an individual game I treat different. There's some surprise results that always come through every week, and we just got to make sure we focus on what we've been doing, and that's putting in good performances.
And you spoke about the squad being quite big at the moment. We talk about players coming in. Are there any chances of players going out in this transfer window as well?
Again, it's a very complex situation when you deal with that. Players are under contract. Some have played more than others. We had a game the other day against Swansea, so I could assess the situation of where they're at. I mean, you could see Ryan Bird come on, affect the game against Carlisle. So you know, it's very careful, because that group's given me everything that they possibly could give, and I've tried to see the group being tested against good opposition, Plymouth, Oxford, and they haven't let me down. So it's important I stay loyal at the moment until someone makes a decision for me.
Because you said you were going to give all the players a chance, but are you knowing like the core of, you know, what your best team is now?
I am, but there's probably ones that would have surprised you that have been brought back into the fold. So I'm always trying to think of a little bit different, rather than take it on what's gone on 6 months ago. You can see the style of play has changed. We're a little bit more of an attacking threat now, and we use more attacking players. So when you're playing that sort of system, it's important that you make sure you got those sort of players available. And so far they've not let me down.